Another beautiful day here in Oregon, southern Oregon coast. I live in a small rural community of about 700 population in the mountains, a valley in the mountains. And in the wintertime, you may lose the power to your house maybe twice or three times a year. So you need a secondary power source such as a generator. So the generator will be the who, and then we're going to talk about when, why, where. So, sorry birds, there's no grass seed in that dirt over there, because the last time I planted grass seed, you guys ate it all. That's why it didn't grow. Little turkeys. Anyways, we have a very special video for you today, and we're going to be talking about generators. So, when's a good time to get a generator? I would say when you have an opportunity to do so and you can afford one. So I've always wanted a generator. I've always kind of needed one, but I never really had a good opportunity to purchase one myself. So you might be thinking, well, what kind of generator did I get? I like Honda engines. They're very affordable, reliable, just a good design, just a good machine. So the Honda generators are a bit more expensive out of my budget range, but don't get me wrong, I would definitely buy a Honda generator if I had a good opportunity to do so. So I ended up going with the Harbor Freight Predator 4,375 starting watt portable generator with a 3,500 running watt, and it has a very similar design as the Honda, and it's a little bit more affordable, and you can purchase that from Harbor Freight for about $550 ish, roughly, I recall. So let's talk about placement. So when you're gonna get a generator, or you have purchased a generator, and before you install it, there's a couple things you need to consider. Where are you going to store the generator when you're not using it? And where is it going to be located when you are using it? So you might as well make those two locations be the same location. A little bird on the fence. So I'm the type of dog owner that I don't force my dogs to be outside 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because that's not very nice. And I had this doghouse, and I didn't really have a good use for it anymore because the dog never really used it much. I didn't force them to use it very much. It used to be over here, and I don't like to throw things away. I don't like things to go to waste, and it's a bit of a hassle to have to haul things off or find them a new home, etc., etc. So I thought to myself, why don't I convert the doghouse into a generator shed? It would work perfectly for that. So then, in the time that I'm not using it, I can have some panels that I can quickly and easily install or remove with wing nuts and washers. I just drilled some holes in the 2x4s, put some bolts in there, and in the winter time when I'm not using it, or pretty much any time when I'm not using it, I can put the panels on there and just tighten them up with the wing nuts, and it's good to go. And if I do need to use it, I can just come out here take the wing nuts off, pull the panels off, and then set them aside, and then the generator is ready to use. So when it's not in use, it's protected from the weather. It's out of the elements, safe and dry, so it doesn't get damaged or rusty. And when I do need to use it, it's all installed, ready to go in a nice level location. And there's no obstructions of the exhaust. You don't want to run your generator inside of your house. You do not want to run your generator inside of your garage. There's a thing called carbon monoxide poisoning, which is very hazardous, and you want to avoid that at all costs. So you want it to be outside, per se, in a separate structure of its own, but not like in like a tool shed with your mowers and your weed eaters and gas jugs and stuff like that. That's also dangerous. So I put mine in the old doghouse, converted it to a generator shed, and location is pretty important too. You don't want it to be right next to your house. You don't want it in your house. So you want it kind of far away from your house as possible, because they're a little bit noisy, and it's just better. So I placed mine here after I drug it over there, because this shed here, I would guess, is probably around 200 pounds, because it's made of 4x10s and 2x4s and plywood, and it gets soaking wet from the rain, and I can only imagine that it's at least 200 pounds soaking wet. And it used to be right over here in the yard, but I used my handy dandy beast, the Husqvarna, with the electric locker, oh heck yeah, to drag it through the yard about 50 feet over here. And I did have some pretty good locker burnouts there for a while, but the grass grew back. Anyways, I chose this spot because it's kind of a strange little dog leg in the yard, and I run a landscaping business, and I don't like to have a bunch of obstacles when I'm mowing and weed eating. There's kind of another little dog leg over here, so that's where I chose to put my fire pit. So, you can do circles around it, and it's not really an obstacle. So I put the generator shed over here, and it's 4 feet or more from any other fence or building, so that works out perfect. And I can store it out of the weather, and when I need to use it, I can just come out here, pull the panels off, start it up, and we're good to go. So let's cover the features here. So on the left side of it here, there's the air box, and it says you want to run at 15 to 20 minutes every 3 months, and clean the air filter regularly. That's just common knowledge for small engines. So you got your air filter in there. Right here above it, you see this little doohickey. This is the choke. That would be in the off run position, and this will be in the start choke on position. And then right over here we have our fuel shut off, which is currently in the on position. And you have a 212cc gasoline engine similar to a Honda. And that's why I chose this product, because it's a little bit more affordable than the Honda, but pretty much the same design. And this size of generator, the 4,375 starting watt Predator, can run my entire house, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, all except for the hot water heater, which uses the most amount of electricity. But I'm sure you can go without hot water for maybe 6 to 12 hours. Anyways, on the front here, you got your control panel. Low oil alert, on-off switch, 12 volt DC, 12 DC breaker, AC breakers, and then you got your 120 volt outlets with your reset and testers, 240 over here, and your ground. So if we look at our manual here, we'll go back a couple pages. Hey cat, what's up? How you doing? You're silly. You're doing the same thing the squirrels do. Just don't poop in my yard. That's all I ask. Alright? So, we got all your setup and your precautions here. It's talking about the carbon monoxide poisoning. And if we turn over here, a couple pages, there's like 3 pages of precautions. If you like, you can screenshot this and read all that information, but we are interested in the oil. So if you live in a climate generally above freezing majority of the time, you want to use 10W30 oil. Or if you live in a colder climate, more often than not below freezing, then you want to use 5W30 oil. And it holds just over a half of a quart of oil. So this is a small engine, so it doesn't hold a lot of oil. Right here you have your dipstick and your drain plug for the oil. So when you fill it up, you want to just pull your dipstick out, put a funnel in there, and then fill it up until the oil starts to come out of the hole, and then you're looking pretty snazzy. So let's turn the page here and we'll talk about grounding. Installation. To ground the generator, connect a number 6 AWG ground wire from the ground terminal on the control panel to a ground rod that has been driven at least 24 inches deep into the earth. So you can pick up the hardware, the ground wire, and the ground rod all at your local hardware store for around $25. Pretty affordable, and it's pretty easy to install yourself for all those do-it-yourselfers out there. So I just got about 5 foot of the number 6 AWG ground wire, and it worked out perfectly for my setup because I knew it was going to be in this structure and about 3 feet off the ground. So I just drilled a hole in the floor there, and I like to store some wood underneath of this so that it can kind of dry out, that I can burn in my fire pit later. So I just recently put these pieces of plywood on there to keep some of the weather out, keep the wood kind of dry. So it's kind of also a miniature woodshed per se. Anyways, right over here I have a nice little access panel, and if you pull this board out here, then now we have our ground rod and our ground wire hooked up. So this is the kind of hardware you want to hook up your wire to your rod. And this ground rod right there is about 4.5 feet long. So it's 4 foot deep into the ground. So I got an extra 2 foot bonus of grounding because they only require 2 feet. And you may ask, how did I get that in there? Well, I just use this. It's an adjustable nozzle for your garden hose, so you can create a pressurized stream of water. And I just drilled a hole here in this plank, and I cranked up this nozzle and I bored a hole down in the ground about 2.5 feet. So when I slid that rod down in there, it went to maybe about like this, and then I just pounded the rest away with a sledgehammer. It's pretty easy going, very good soil around here. I call it the Oregon soil. A lot of nutritional value, and it's just good soil. So that was pretty simple. And then you just hook your wire up to your rod. Pretty simple. There's a couple different connections you can get to hook that up, but that's the one that I chose. And I figured it'd be nice to have a nice little access panel there. I need to put a couple of screws in that. That's where the screw gun's out here for. So as simple as that. And you also want this panel to be removable, because this is where the exhaust comes out, and you don't want anything obstructing the exhaust. And that pretty much covers everything. So if you're interested in purchasing this product for yourself and you're wondering how much it can run a 3-bedroom 2-bathroom house, all except for the hot water heater. So I'd say that's pretty good. And it's about $500 from Harbor Freight. They'll ship it right to your door. I don't remember. I think shipping might have been like $50. I don't remember for sure. But let's start it up for you. I just had it running the other day because honestly, it took a couple goes to get this video just right for y'all. So we got the fuel on, choke on. We just need to turn our switch on here and give it a pull. Let's go inside the garage real quick so you can get an idea of how loud it is. So we're in the garage, doors closed. Listen for a second. I can hear it pretty good, but I think in the video it's a little bit quieter. So if you're not going to use it for a while, maybe a couple months or the whole winter, you want to start it up every 3 months, but it's good to turn the fuel off while it's running, so it'll burn all the fuel in the carburetor, so you won't have a bunch of bad gas in there that'll gel up on you and cause issues later. So I hope the video helped you. Please consider liking the video. Please consider subscribing to the channel. And that will give me motivation to continue making videos for y'all. This is a channel where we like to help people, show them our lifestyle, show them how they can be more positive, more generous, considerate, you know, all the nice things in the world. And I did finish up my handle for my woodshed this morning. So I took the old wooden dowel out and I put a new wooden dowel in there about 12 inches long, so you got a good handle on both sides. So just in case you've seen my other video with the automatic spring-loaded door, then it's all finished up now, ready to go. I'm just gonna wait till summer and then stain it when it's nice and dry. So the generator, I'd recommend it to anyone. I hope the video helped you. Maybe you just like my style of videos. I'm pretty much a vlogger, as people say. I like to help people and help make the world a better place. So I hope you enjoyed, and remember, no matter the situation, love is always the best answer. Take care. Later. Peace.